Lestat here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be profiling my Red Eyes deck post Duelist Nexus. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a like, leave a comment down below. I always enjoy interacting with you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. First, we're playing triple copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon, Heart and Soul the deck, one copy of Nibiru. I'm not maxed out on the hand traps because maxing out on the hand traps affects the consistency in a negative way. Also, you do need at least one copy of Nibiru to put decks like Rescue Ace in check, because Rescue Ace is able to spam, and I had a difficult time keeping up with it, so that's why the one Nibiru is in here. One copy of Darkness Metal Dragon for generic extender, one copy of Blaster, one copy of Tempest. These two are just generic level 7 extenders and beat sticks. Two copies of Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. I really like this card. I know a lot of Red Eyes fans are kind of about it, but I really do like it because if you draw vanilla in hand, it's a free level 7 body on board. And this deck focuses on dumping the vanilla into grave and then reviving it. That way you could continue to rank 7 spam. One copy of Red Eye Soul. Not too relevant. It's nice to have a free body on board whenever you discard this, but what I normally use it for is the Heretic Seal. When I tag out for Seal, I'll normally go into Soul and then burn my opponent. Theoretically, it's good for time, but mainly I'm just doing this to burn my opponent because this deck does focus a lot on burning, and I'm going to be showing gameplay. That way you guys understand why this is relevant. Triple copies of Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. This card is amazing. If you guys haven't picked this up yet from Duelist Nexus, you guys should. It's essentially a Magician's Souls. So you can pitch a Red Eyes Black Dragon from your hand or deck, and then summon this from your hand. It's really cool. Free body to go into your rank 7s. Two copies of Burner, two copies of Lightning. These help you go into their respective level 7 Dragon Ruler counterparts. So this just helps you gain access to whatever you need. Two copies of Ash Blossom, triple copies of Black Metal Dragon. This card is your primary starter. This is the card that kicks off most of your plays. Typically, you're going to be normal summoning it, sending it to graveyard for one of your Link 1 dragons, and then searching for your Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, and then combo from there. One copy of Blackstone of Legend. This card isn't too relevant, but it is a nice secondary starter. So if you're in the grind game, you can just normalist, tag out for a Red Eyes monster from deck, and then you just have a free body on board to go into your rank 7 plays. Triple copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. This deck does involve a lot of dumping into grave and then reviving. And then not only that, Return of the Dragon Lords does offer protection. Two copies of Lightning Storm. You need back row removal. I've encountered that quite a bit today, and I was losing left and right until I put this card in, and it's helped phenomenally. I wasn't winning games until I started playing this. So I highly recommend playing some form of back row removal. Two copies of Cards of the Red Stone. This is a hard once per turn, unfortunately, but it does help you get your Red Eyes Black Dragon into graveyard, and you get to draw two cards. So it does help with the consistency and fill your graveyard. Two triple copies of Dragon Shrine. This card is really good because you could dump your vanilla into grave and then send one of your Dragon Rulers. That way you can revive your Dragon Rulers from graveyard to go into your rank 7 plays. One copy of Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. This is also hard once per turn, but we're only playing one copy of it because we really don't want to be banishing our level 7s, but sometimes it's necessary to get those additional draw cards. Triple copies of Infernal Fire Blast. Like I said, we're heavily relying on burning. One called by the grave to counter hand traps. Two copies of Impermanence. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't want to max out on the hand traps because you do run into a consistency issue. Now, theoretically, you probably could take out the Infernal Fire Blast and play more hand traps, but again, we're kind of heavily relying on the burn strategy. Triple copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal. This card is the MVP. You're going to be spamming this left and right. And believe it or not, the burn effect is so good, especially when you have multiple of these guys on board, which I've been doing like practically every other game. It's really good. Um, you're going to be turboing out multiple of these. Sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be two. But if you're able to get a third one out, you pretty much have it in the bag. While this card has material, it can't be destroyed by card effects. And every time your opponent activates a card or an effect, they lose 500 life points. So if you have 2 to 3 of these on field, your opponent is going to be losing up to 1,000 to 1,500 life points every time they play a card. One copy of Dracosac. It's a token producer, and it can allow you to link climb. Not too relevant. One copy of Big Eye. This card was very handy today. Being able to steal tower-like monsters that can't be destroyed, and then just linking it away for something else. That comes in handy. One copy of Dragon Doom Rider. Genetic removal. One copy of Boral Sword Dragon. One copy of Appaloosa. Unicorn, Masquerena. These 4 cards, they're just in here for just in case. 2 copies of Heretic Seal. Like I said, it's good for removing an opponent's card on board and then tagging out for your souls. That way you could deal burn damage. There were times that I tagged out for the Dragon Rulers. That way I had a follow-up for my next turn. So typically I tag out, bring out a Dragon Ruler. My opponent obviously attacks over it, not thinking that I could bring it back next turn. And then you guys will see why that's good. 1 Pisty, 1 Striker. These are just here for your Black Metal Dragon plays. 1 copy of Link Spider. Not too relevant, but in the event that I feel like I need to link off a Red Eyes to go into this, it's there if I need to do it. And then these cards at the bottom here were just additional things I was testing. You could play Crossout Designator in your side deck, Droplets for Board Breaker, your Drolls, and your Gamma Seals. But like I said, this isn't an actual side deck, but these are just some friendly suggestions of what you could play. So getting into the gameplay here, we opened with 1 Black Metal Dragon, 1 Lightning, 1 Cards of the Redstone, 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon, 1 Ash Blossom. Believe it or not, this is actually a pretty decent hand. So we're going to activate Cards of the Redstone. We're going to pitch the Red Eyes from a hand to draw 2 cards. So now we have a Droll and a Crossout. So we do have some little offense defensive here if we need it. So we summoned a Black Metal Dragon. We link it away for Striker. And now we have Black Meteor Black Dragon. So now we're able to do our combo. So if you pay close attention here, we're going to have a free body on board by pitching Red Eyes from deck. And then Lightning brings out a free level 7 monster. So now we can go into our Flare Metal. So what's going to happen here is we're going to go into Flare Metal. We're going to detach a material to revive Red Eyes. And then Tempest is going to revive itself because it's the material that we detached. And then that will enable us to go into a second one and then bring out another Red Eyes and link away for Heretic Seal, which is an interruption. Yeah, and as I was mentioning earlier, kaijus were a little bit more prevalent. So this is why it's important to have multiple Flare Metals on board. And the reason why I bounced their Cyber Dragon was because I wanted them to waste a normal summon if they needed to summon it again. So as you can see here, it did pay off. And since they attacked over the Dragon Ruler, we're able to revive it from the graveyard. So even if they leave it on board or send it to the graveyard, they can't really avoid a second rank 7 play. Yep, we're going to be spamming more Flare Metals here. Yep, and no matter what they activate, it's game. Yeah, and I don't think they read the Flare Metals because they try to remove them on board, but the materials that I have attached protect them. And then they get burned. So we're going against Fire Kings. We open Return, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Ash Blossom, Tempest, and Draw and Lockbird. So we're going to use Tempest effect. If you guys don't know, Tempest can pitch itself in a dragon or wind monster to search for a dragon monster from deck. So we're going to be searching for Black Metal Dragon, which again is our primary starter. Leak it away for Striker. We're going to be searching for Black Meteor. Beautiful. Yep, we're going to be bringing back Tempest. Overlaying. Detaching the Tempest, that way we can use it next turn. And then link it for Heretic Seal for the interruption. And then, of course, we have the Ash Blossom if we need it. And one thing I like to do with the Heretic Seal is bounce the hard once per turn cards or continuous and field spells that are hard once per turn, because they can't get the search that they need and they can't activate another one. So it's another perk of having the Heretic Seal. So we tag out for the Red Eye Soul, which again is just more burn damage. Yep, so we burn our opponent, we banish the return, and keep in mind, we still have the Tempest if we need it. Yep, we're going to go into another Flare Metal. Now, the Flare Metal that doesn't have materials won't get the burn, but it's still additional bodies on board if we need it. And this is my opponent failing to read. But yeah, that's the Fire King matchup. Okay, so this is against Monarch. Monarch is really fun to play against. I really enjoyed this matchup. So we open call by Dragon Shrine, Burner, Red Eye Soul, and Lightning. So before we get started, I do have to say I kind of got a little too excited and shotgun the Red Eye Soul when I didn't need to. So I kind of had to make up for it. So don't shotgun the Red Eye Soul, because your opponent's just going to be banishing the Red Eyes Black Dragon with the Fenrir. So we're going to activate Dragon Shrine. We're going to pitch the Red Eyes in the Blaster. That way I have it engrave. Lightning's going to bring out the Tempest. And then we're going to do our Dragon Ruler shenanigans. Now, some of these Kashtira cards, I don't know what they do because it's not a deck that I play against a whole lot. I do see Fenrir and Unicorn quite a bit. So I'm kind of having to learn new decks. Yeah, them sending the top cards to my deck to the graveyard actually did benefit me because we drew into the Black Metal Dragon, which there's no way of predicting that. But what essentially happens is now we have full combo. Yeah, because once you have the Meteor Dragon on board and then you're able to summon the Dragon Rulers from graveyard, you're just able to swarm with the rank 7s. But now we have an interruption card. Yeah, I kind of suspected that they would need a body on board in order to tribute summon, so they're going to have to waste a normal summon to do whatever they need to do. And again, it's my opponent failing to read cards. This is another interesting one when it gets Sacred Beast. So we open the Black Meteor Dragon, one copy of Shrine, one copy of Nibiru, another Black Meteor Dragon, and the Black Stone of Legend. So they summon Core of Chaos. Now, Core of Chaos I was a little confused on because I thought the no damage effect was a hard once per turn. But no, apparently it's continuous. But that doesn't really affect us too much. So we're going to be doing our basic combos, setting up the Dragon Rulers Engrave, going into our Red Eyes Flare Metal, and then spamming the board. That way we can end on multiple Flare Metals and then an interruption. So I tried to get rid of the Core of Chaos, but again, I kind of failed to read on my part because I thought its effects were once per turn, but no, it has a continuous protection effect during each turn. But see how relevant the burn effect is here? It just, every time they activate something, it just keeps going. Now, they do end up gaining additional life because of their trap. So I can either get rid of the trap or I can get rid of their monsters. I opt for getting rid of their monsters. Because the armor tile is something of concern. Like, I don't want it, like, attacking over my Red Eyes Flare Metal because, again, we're heavily relying on the burn damage. So I don't attack, I don't summon anything else because I am concerned that they're going to gain more life. So I have to wait until I'm able to get rid of the Haman. That way I can attack for game. Now, as you can see here, we do have a Dragon Ruler and two Dragon Rulers engraved that we're able to summon. And this is what I mentioned earlier about the Big Eye. Big Eye is pretty relevant. I do link it away for the Masquerena just so I can get rid of it. And then I put the Tempest on board. That way I have something to link away with the Masquerena to go into Unicorn if I need it. And then they end up surrendering. So this is a Scareclaw matchup. I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea what this deck did, but it's not good for us in the long run. This is the match that we end up losing. So this is Red Eyes Black Dragon, one copy of Tempest, one copy of Black Metal, one copy of Return of the Dragon Lord, one copy of Red Eyes Meteor. They ended up locking me. So what pretty much happens is that they switch all my monsters to defense, and they prevent me from using, if I remember correctly, the majority of my effects. So as you can see here, we're doing our basic combo. So pretty much what we're doing is we're using a Black Metal Dragon to get these surges going. And this is where my mind is blown because, like, you know, in most cases, you're able to bounce the field spell, and then because it's a hard once per turn, they don't get to search. But apparently, Scareclaws have more in their toolbox than I thought. I was really impressed with this deck. It's something I might consider picking up. There's not really too much to say here other than they just keep spamming. You know, I do get them down, you know, to where almost over half their life is gone. But unfortunately, they're just able to just wipe out my entire board with their Link monster. And this is the part that really hurt my feels because they ended up getting both my Dragon Rulers, and then from there it was just game. Because I believe one of them enabled piercing damage. Yeah. And the Link monster can attack equal to the number of Scareclaw monsters in defense. So, yeah, this is game. So this concludes today's deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay as well. I'm not really talented when it comes to commentary, so I hope I did a decent enough job to where you guys understood what was happening during the gameplay. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Leave a comment down below. Would you like to see more profiles like this through the simulator, more gameplay? And also, please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and upload. I will be streaming Friday, August 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be our 3-year anniversary and community appreciation stream. So hopefully you guys are able to tune in for that. Until next time, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.